Welcome back to another video of Dandadan Manga. Today, we're jumping into Chapter 3, so let's dive right in. If you haven't seen our videos on Chapters 1 and 2 yet, make sure to check those out first. I'll leave the links in the description below and in Burr's view. But if you're all caught up, let's jump straight into today's chapter. Let's go. At the start of the chapter, we see a television broadcast is underway. A mysterious masked figure appears on the screen, delivering a series of predictions. "You are 27 years old," she announces confidently. The contestant chuckles, shaking his head. "Wrong. I'm 20. Undeterred, she continues, "Your favorite food is curry." "Not even close," he replies. "It's ramen." Finally, she declares, "You have a wife and child." The contestant laughs. "I live alone." The broadcast cuts off, leaving the studio buzzing. "Santa Dodoria really is something else," a staff member comments to a colleague. "It's kind of funny seeing her get everything wrong. As if a guy that young would have a wife and kids. Anyone could have guessed that." The psychic steps into a taxi to head home. As they drive, the driver glances at her through the rearview mirror. "You're Santa Dodoria, aren't you? I've seen you on TV. Do you really have psychic abilities?" She remains silent for a moment before calmly replying, "You can drop me off here." The driver hesitates. "I didn't mean to offend you. I was just hoping you could show me something." Her tone sharpens. "If you don't want an early death, leave now." The scene shifts to the moment Momo collapses, exhausted after her fierce battle against the alien. Without Momo's power to suppress her, Turbo Granny takes full control of Okarun's body. Turbo Granny's eyes glint with malice as she grabs Momo by the legs, hoisting her upside down. She opens her mouth wide, ready to bite down on her. Suddenly, a marked brick and a nail streak through the air like missiles. They strike Turbo Granny with precision, triggering a powerful explosion that sends her flying backward. The impact propels her into a nearby river. "I thought you brought another trash boy home, but this one is not even human, is he?" "My granddaughter brings nothing but trouble." A woman steps forward. Her tone shifts, tinged with challenge. "Now then, bring it on." It's none other than Momo's grandmother, the spirit medium Momo had mentioned earlier. The evil spirit lunges toward her, its malicious intent clear. Turbo Granny, now fully unleashed, moves with such blistering speed that even Momo's grandmother, a seasoned spirit medium, struggles to track her movements. Turbo Granny darted toward Momo's grandmother. But the moment she got close, flames erupted around Turbo Granny, engulfing Turbo Granny in a fiery blaze. The grandmother reveals that she has placed a mystical barrier around her, and she knew it would go for her blind spot, and she walked right into the trap. Turbo Granny thrashed, attempting to escape the barrier, but each time she extended her hands beyond the line, they ignited in flames, forcing her back. Momo's grandmother fixed her with a stern gaze. "If you step over that line, you'll be nothing but toast," she warned. "By firing a talisman nail outside your circle, I turned that region into a barrier. But when I fire a nail inside, like this, the inside becomes the barrier." She looked down at Turbo Granny, who was still writhing in pain. "The reason you couldn't lay a finger on me is because I was already protected. I'm going to eat you alive. You can't keep me trapped like this forever." Turbo Granny shouted, her voice filled with anger. "I don't intend to keep you trapped," Grandma replied coldly. "I'm going to kill you." Grandma started swinging her baseball bat with practiced precision, each strike landing with a resounding crack. With every blow, Turbo Granny's body slammed into the barrier wall, igniting in flames as she shrieked in pain. "Come on now, stand your ground," Grandma taunted. "What's the matter? Can't use that speed you're so proud of now, huh?" "Damn you, you dirty old hag," Turbo Granny screamed at Momo's grandmother, her voice trembling with rage. "One granny calling another granny an old hag?" Momo's grandmother scoffed. "You make me sick. I'll have you know, I'm known for my beauty, and I'll punish every scumbag who dares try to seduce my granddaughter." Momo's grandmother took a nail and placed it inside Turbo Granny's barrier. Turbo Granny screamed in agony as flames erupted all over her body. Momo wakes up, finally back to her senses. "Where's Okarun?" she wonders. She quickly gets out of bed and starts looking for him. As she goes downstairs, she spots her grandma relaxing and watching TV. "Wait, you're back!" Momo shouts, surprised. "I'm watching Bakatono, so keep it down," her grandma replies, unfazed. "I have something important to say," Momo insists. "Did you go to a haunted spot?" her grandma asks casually. "Not me, but my friend did," Momo explains. "For what?" Granny presses. "We were talking about spirits, and one thing led to another. But did you see a boy around? If I'm not near him, it could mean big trouble," Momo says urgently. But her grandma completely ignores Momo and bursts out laughing at a joke on the TV. Momo snaps. "Hey, are you even listening to me? If you're talking about that evil spirit, I already took care of it," Granny says casually. Momo's eyes widen. "What did that spirit look like? Was it wearing glasses?" she asks, starting to panic. Granny smirks. "I thought you didn't believe in spirits. I am a phony spirit medium, don't you remember? How long are you going to hold that against me?" Momo snaps, her frustration growing. "He might be in real trouble, so just give me a straight answer." Please don't believe in this kind of stuff. I'm just a fraud, Grandma replies calmly, unfazed by Momo's panic. Momo drops to her knees, lowering her head. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please, just tell me what happened to the evil spirit, she pleads desperately. Go to the main shrine and see, Granny commands. Momo, filled with urgency, rushes toward the shrine, shouting back at her granny, if something happens to Okarun, I will never forgive you. Momo bolts toward the shrine, her thoughts consumed with guilt. If I hadn't forced him to go to that place, this wouldn't have happened, she keeps blaming herself. I'm sorry, Okarun, Momo shouts as she swings the door open. To her surprise, Okarun is sitting there calmly, eating rice balls. Miss Ayase, thank God you're all right. I thought I killed you, Okarun cries, tears streaming down his face. Momo, overwhelmed with embarrassment, slams the door shut in his face. You're alive, you four-eyed freak, she yells, her voice shaky as she kicks the door in frustration. From the other side, Okarun shouts back, if I were dead, would that be better for you? Momo's heart pounds in her chest, emotions swirling inside her. Suddenly, Granny came behind her and said, when did you start having monsters for friends? The curse won't activate if he is in there. But as soon as he sets foot outside, he goes back to being a monster. You said you killed him. You liar, Momo said. Hearing this, Granny starts teasing her about Okarun. Momo explains to her, Turbo Granny stole his thing. The curse can't be lifted until he gets it back. I just wish I could do something to help him. There is something else. She adds, I have psychic powers now. Granny asks in shock, what are you talking about? I encounter aliens, and now I have powers. Momo explains. There is no such thing as UFOs, Granny says. Momo understands that no one would believe this thing. You've gotten yourself mixed up with a real pain in the ass. I'll tell you that, Granny says, her voice serious. In the old days, she was known as the 100-kilometer-per-hour Granny, a yokai who caused chaos all over the country. I heard she's been staying in that long tunnel lately. Granny's face tightens with concern and fear as she continues. I went out there once. It was bizarre. The spiritual energy around that place was so strong, I couldn't even get near the tunnel. Do you know what a bound spirit is? Granny asks, her voice serious. She continues, it's a spirit that lingers in a specific place it's deeply connected to. They are at their strongest within their territory. No spirit medium alive could stand a chance against a bound spirit in its domain. There was already a bound spirit in that tunnel, Granny says gravely. Turbo Granny and that spirit have merged into one. Don't get mixed up with it. I don't want to lose you. Granny says, her voice filled with worry. Momo wonders to herself, what would my beloved Ken Takakura do in this situation? She always asks herself this whenever she's in a tough spot. She looks at her grandma and replies, Ken Takakura would definitely have helped, so I'm going to help too. Your beloved Ken? You really do love that punk, huh? Granny teases, raising an eyebrow. Momo quickly corrects her. I'm not talking about that Ken, pointing toward Okarun. Granny smirks and says, if you're determined to do it, then let's play a little tag with this Turbo Granny. Challenge her. She'll surely accept. You two will have to run like your lives depend on it, Granny warns, her expression grim. The bound spirit's territory is Shono City. You need to lure Turbo Granny outside the city limits without getting caught. If you two can manage that, she'll be weakened. Only then will you be able to take her down. I can't outrun her with these legs, Momo says, worried. Can't you use a barrier or something? We could put one up in the tunnel, she suggests, pointing toward the talisman. I won't help you guys with this, Granny says, turning her down firmly. Momo screams, why? My barrier magic works by borrowing the powers of the god that resides in this region, Granny explains. Outside Kamikoshi City, that power won't work. Granny explains further, each region has its own god. The problem is whether you're playing a home game or away. She adds, if you get in shape, you might be able to outrun Turbo Granny. I wouldn't even qualify for a prefectural track tournament, Momo says, frustrated. I wasn't talking about you. I meant him, Granny says, pointing to Okarun. But Okarun has 0 stamina, Momo protests. Without hesitation, Okarun agrees with Momo. And I have to be with him to control his curse, Momo adds, looking at Granny. Granny thinks for a moment and then gives her a solution. Okarun has to carry you on his back. How much do you weigh, Momo? Okarun asks nervously. Are you trying to die, Okarun? Momo replies with an angry glare. But I can go all out twice in my cursed state. That's my limit, Okarun says, trying to explain. Then you'll have to train yourself to go all out all the time, Granny responds simply, handing Okarun his training schedule. She then turns to Momo, and you need to practice your psychic abilities. Since she can't help directly in the fight, Granny declares, I'll be your trainer. Get some sleep. Your training will start tomorrow, she tells Momo. Okarun can start his training immediately. With that, Granny leaves them to begin their preparations. Okarun looks at Momo with determination and says, next time won't be like the previous fights with aliens. Last time, I was only thinking about myself, but you saved both of us. I promise, I'll help you next time, and I won't disappoint you again. Momo softly replies, I'm not disappointed in you. Okarun, frustrated, screams, "Then why did you slam the door in my face?" Momo, caught off guard, is left speechless. She can't explain why she did it. Okarun continues to yap about she's disappointed in him. As Momo walks away, she mumbles to herself with a small smile, "You were pretty cool in that fight, but I'll save you again next time." Then, with a playful grin, she adds, "You can sleep tonight." "Miss Ayase," Okarun calls out. I'm really thirsty. Could you please get me some water?" While Momo goes to fetch water, she sees her grandma watching TV. The news report is about a celebrity, Shoma, whose secrets have come to light, proving that everything her grandmother had foretold was true. Granny, without missing a beat, says, "Now why don't you admit you like curry, not ramen?" Alright, that's a wrap for today's video. We've covered Chapter 3 of Dandadan, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be diving into the next chapters in the upcoming videos, so make sure you stay tuned. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and help us reach 100 likes. Also, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And before you go, I want to know, who's your favorite character so far? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.